Beatrix. I'm a registered nurse and I have a bachelor's degree in the science of nursing. I got my first license when I was 18 years of age, so I've been in healthcare my entire life. The first better part of 16 years, I worked 12-hour nights in the ICU at one hospital and in an ER with a level 3 trauma center at another hospital. And those were awesome jobs. But then I got married and I had a baby, and then I got divorced and I became a single mother. And when she was maybe, my lovely, beautiful daughter was about maybe 3 years old, it was apparent that I needed to come home at night to be able to properly care for her. So at that time I had to go to days. At that point I opted to transfer to the cardiac cath lab. And for those of you that don't know what that is, it is the place where all the procedures are done on your heart that don't require surgery. So everything is done peripherally, either through an artery or a vein. All your vasculature leads back to your heart. And it's also, we do stents and balloons and pacemakers, EP studies, things like that. And it's also the place where you end up when you have a heart attack. So I spent probably 17 years in a few different hospitals, and I learned all about cardiovascular disease and peripheral vascular disease and how what we do to ourselves our whole lives kind of catches up to us when we get older. And when I first started nursing, I was like 18 years old, so everybody was old. And at this point, my patients are starting to be my own age, and it's a little bit disconcerting. I am considered one of the old timers at the hospital now. Anyways, a couple of years ago, I had a little bit of a midlife crisis. I left. I went out on a stress leave. I had about 3 months of pay that I could collect, and during that time was when I went, okay, what do I do now, right? So I was online and I came across a business called Drip Hydration, ran by Dr. Abe Malkin, and they do in-home IV hydration. So I thought, okay, well, let's try that. Let's see if I can do that, right? So I called him and he interviewed me and hired me basically on the spot. And when I went to LA and I got all my supplies and they told me what I would be doing, it was basically going to people's homes, hanging a banana bag, and making them feel better. So I started doing it, and I found that A, well, I'm really good at it, and B, I love it. I mean, I can make my own schedule, I get to meet some of the coolest people, and at this point I kind of cure flus and hangovers like all day long. And I am also a recovering alcoholic. I've been sober for like 30 years. I sobered up when I was 22, so I relate with the drug addicts and the alcoholics really well. So now, bam, I have a new passion, okay? I started doing this in home, and I realized how awesome hydration is because it fixes people, and it fixes people immediately. It's very cool. So, everybody has their own culture, their own lifestyle, their own views and beliefs on health and wellness and how they live, right? But the one thing that everybody has in common is our lifespan, right? Every single person on this earth, you're born, you live your life, you come down the other side, and then you die. We all die at the end. Everybody's born, you go through your life, and then you die. Okay, everybody dies at the end. I don't know anybody anywhere ever in my entire life of nursing that has lived forever, all right? We all end up dying at the end. So your life is kind of like this. So the first half of your life, you're climbing up the hill, and some people, they run really fast. They get to the top, right? And along the way, there's a lot of trees and potholes and poison ivy and all kinds of crap that you can run into. And some people run really fast to the top, and they dodge all of this stuff, and they get to the top, and they hang out there. They hang out there for a long time before they actually start coming down the other side of the hill, right? Some people, when they're climbing this hill of life, right, they hit all the trees and they fall in holes, and some of them fall in the same hole like 5,000 times, and they get out, and they end up getting to the midpoint like really, really slow, right? But once they go to the other side, they roll, man. They roll down the other side, and pretty quickly. I think 50 is kind of your halfway point. And that's when stuff starts to happen, right? People have heart attacks, they have strokes, they have renal failure, they have, and all kinds of stuff that happens. And it usually happens, when you just kind of get on the other side of that hill. And it just depends on how you take care of yourself on the way up, on how you're going to kind of come down the other side. And the idea for me, anyways, is I would like to come down the hill kind of slowly and gracefully, and try not to fall down or somersault or bite it on the way down, because when you're coming down the hill and you fall fast. The whole point of this video is A, to tell you who I am, and B, to tell you that I have a new passion and I would like to help a lot of the young people out there whom are now my clients that are going to be cath lab patients down the line. I am somebody who knows about change, okay? I have had to change my lifestyle and the way that I do things several times over my lifespan in order to have a better life, right? If I'm unhappy in my marriage, I left. If I was unhappy, and it's not like I just left, okay? It takes me a while. Sometimes it takes a couple of years, right? I was probably unhappy at my job for at least 2 years before I actually decided to walk out. That was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my entire life. But there's never been a door that closed behind me that did not open a door in front of me. And that's exactly what happened. I walked away from that job feeling like, what am I going to do now, right? Everything's going to fall apart. But you have to be positive, and voila, here I am. I actually have quite a lucrative business now doing hydration, and we also do stem cell IV infusion, which is the coolest thing ever. And it helps regenerate and regrow a lot of your joints and tendons, and takes care of nagging injuries. It's also treating a lot of systemic inflammatory processes, which is really cool. And we do NAD treatments. That's another video, but it's essentially a derivative of the B3 that reboots your brain, and it makes you think clearer and focus better and feel better and have more energy and all of these things. I now have a business in which you can talk to B. I'm B, right? So you can ask me anything and I will do my best to give you my best answer. I'm not a physician, I'm not a nurse practitioner, but I have a buttload of experience in healthcare, experience with people, experience in just making lifestyle changes. Click the follow me and look for me. And if you have questions, please contact me. You can reach me at beatrix@talktobea.com. And it's B-E-A because my name is Beatrix. So it's Talk to Bea. And just let me know if you have any questions, and be looking for more videos.